Hey, Life Changers. My name is Debbie Thomas, and I am the Dealer Service Specialist for Saladmaster, located in the home office in Fort Worth, Texas.
While a few of you might know me, the SMU team wanted to put together a special video series.
So how about we pivot just a bit and just allow us to introduce ourselves
and allow you to get to know your team behind the best cookware in the world.
I have no idea what these questions are going to be, so we're really in for awkward discovery together.
If you had to pick what would be your most memorable moment you've had with Saladmaster, so I think the one that first springs to my mind is that I introduced the partnership with Diabetes UK, and in that first year of our partnership, we sponsored an event that they were running called the London Bridges Challenge. So there were 10 different bridges in London. We had to win. It was a 10-mile walk. We had to do that, and I got a Saladmaster team together, and I coordinated the whole thing with the team at Diabetes. And I remember I'd crossed the finish line, so it was an achievement because I'd crossed the finish line, but then we got all of the Saladmaster family together, and we all had this picture with the Tower of London behind, and it was just like a really memorable moment for me, because I just remember feeling this feeling of family and being part of something, and just really proud of what we'd done. So that's a memorable moment for me.
There's quite a few. I've been here a long time, but I always enjoy the time that we have with our fellow team here at the home office, like when we have like special occasions, like for Halloween or Christmas. We always do things together as a group, which is really fun. Even our lunches here at the office. Also, some of these events that we are able to attend to are pretty exciting. I like to hear and see the energy is very positive. It's almost contagious.
Good one or bad one? So I think the most memorable was my very first training assignment as a trainer here in corporate. And that was my first trip where I was helping an associate. I think he was a consultant at the time. And I had no credibility with this guy. Of course, many people didn't know me because I had just recently came back. And he just really wasn't so fond of me, honestly. And I helped him a little bit, tweak a few things on his presentation. And that night we went together on a presentation and he got 2 sales. So I think those are the things I enjoy the most. And I have so many memories of that because I know that even if he doesn't remember what happened or how he did it, I had a little part on him having a little bit of success. So that's a really memorable thing. In corporate, I think just really being there for the SMU platform building, gosh, it was memorable. I guess I would just say that.
There's lots. I don't know exactly one specifically. I've had so much fun with the people that I work with in the home office. I've made so many lifelong friends with our team here and with so many of you as dealers. We've had experiences together at LCEs and traveling, and I just love the people. That's the best experience, is the people.
I think the LCE, the Dallas LCE, was my opportunity to participate in my first LCE. And I counted that as it was an exciting time and opened my eyes to what Saladmaster is all about.
3.5 years ago, at the first LCE that I truly worked with Saladmaster, I was not yet a member of the Saladmaster family. Everybody was in the room during the big meeting, and I was outside, and I was given the task of not allowing anybody to get into the refreshments early, that was for the break time. This woman walks up. I have no idea who she is, as I do not work in the corporate office at this time, and wants to take cookies, and I have to explain to her, I'm sorry, this is for break time. Come to find out, it was Tracy from Regalware. I have yet to live that down, that I denied Tracy from Regalware cookies before the break.
I think mine would be the travel club that we went to in Brighton. I was so excited about I had to buy a dress and everything else that went with it, and the shoes and the handbag and everything else. And to me, it was just such a lovely event to go to and actually put some faces to names with dealers.
Do you really want to this. It was in about 1975 or 76. I made a bet that I would retain the crown of King of the Midwest region. Well, I came in second. Now let me tell you what the bet was. It was to streak at the banquet. So folks, I came around the corner, and this was the first chance that I had to meet the president of Saladmaster and his wife. And at the time, that was Gil Flocker. And I came streaking around out of that curtain. I was wearing nothing but a smile. But I did have on some flesh-colored underwear and my cowboy boots. So that's probably the most memorable I've had with Saladmaster.
My most memorable moment with Saladmaster was definitely a fun moment. We were at LCE pre-COVID in person, and I was actually the mascot. So I dressed up as kind of a stainless steel figure with an apron and was just a little bit of entertainment for all of our dealers and cooking coaches. And while it was a little tiresome, it was actually a lot of fun.
It's actually quite an interesting one because I had a bit of a period where I did leave the company, and when I say leave, I was out for about 6 months. So I used to work for a dealership, and then I left and I joined another company. And I remember it was it was like towards the end of the year, and I got a message from Io, and I was always a bit like, okay, I've not heard from him for a couple of months, so what's going on? And I read the message. I remember being in the ladies, and I just burst out laughing because the text message read that the US team want you to come over to Vegas for the next LC to host a CSE seminar. So the first thing I did was ring my now husband, and I was like, they want me to go to Vegas. So it's safe to say that I handed my notice in with my current employer and came back to Saladmaster. But yeah, I do have to say, having the opportunity to travel overseas and obviously not just be in front of the rider division, but travel overseas on such a big stage and deliver my training to such a large quantity and volume of people is probably definitely the most memorable moments that I've had.
I think I was really amazed about when I went to the factory in April 2019. I thought that was an amazing experience to you have this vision of what it's going to look like, and my vision was completely different to what it actually is. So I think that was a massive eye-opener and probably something I'll never forget.
Probably for a master dealer conference, gonna have to say is in Amelia Island. Boy, if you've ever been on a master dealer conference, anything can happen. By the end of it was an evening where we had lobsters on the grill over by the pool. By the end of the night, half of the people who were there ended up in the pool in their clothes, having a great time. That's probably the other time. So those two moments are most memorable for me.
Well, it's probably two. So first would be my first experience of an LCE. That I think was magical just because the size of it and seeing everybody there. The second one would be the International Dealers Retreat and seeing all the dealers around the globe. I think it was the reception for the awards night where everyone came in their culture's clothing. That was really fun, and I really enjoyed seeing that and getting to talk with all the dealers from around the world.
Who's had the most influence on you growing up? One famous and one person in your life.
Who's had the most influence on you growing up? Oh, shoot, man, we're getting personal here. One famous. Oh, shit. Those are tough questions for me.
Okay. You don't have to answer if you don't.
Okay, yeah, let's keep going.
Who's had the most influence on you growing up? One famous person and one person in your life. Oh, okay, so the most influence famous person, this is gonna sound so cheesy, but I think it's Pink. The artist. She's like hardcore. I really like her. we weren't allowed to watch her music videos because my mom thought she was too hardcore, but we would sneak and go on MTV when they played music, and we would watch her videos and we'd be like, wow, like she's so cool. Me and my brother. It's very weird. And then one person in your life, I think it has to be my dad. My dad has been like so awesome. He's kind in all situations, and he always sees the glass half full. Like he's just the most positive person in all situations.
And famous people, I would definitely say David Attenborough, because while I was a child, that's all I used to watch is his TV programs. I have a huge love for animals and wildlife, and David Attenborough kind of steered me down that route through my school education. All I wanted to do was biology and science and kind of follow his path. And then for a person in my life that's influenced me, it's got to be my wife, really. My wife has been the most influenced since the moment we met. She's helped and guided me the whole way through.
I have to say my mom. It's got to be my mommy. Lost her a few years ago, but yeah, she's still that one person.
Well, I guess I'll start with my life. I think that was my mom because she was really strict, and as much as I didn't like a lot of the things she did for me or with me or however you want to call that, she always pushed me to be excellent in everything that I did. She always wanted me to do my best, be my best, and just really, I guess, make her proud, but also make myself proud and know and, get to know what I was really capable of.
I'll start with the person in my life. So the person in my life that has had the biggest influence on me growing up is actually my father. He had me at an extremely early age. Him and my mom were very, very young kids, and I can say kids. I saw him work his way through college. He got his bachelor's, and then he went on and got his master's. He actually worked 2 jobs while going to college just to support myself and my brother. I have seen him dedicate his life to not only being there for us. He was a very involved dad. He was at every single sports and cheerleading event I had growing up, but he was also dedicated to his work, and you could tell that he had that great balance between family life and professional life. Now he is a vice president of operations for a global company, and I still look to him and I go to him for any kind of advice that I could have professionally or personally. As I said, he was just the best dad ever.
A person in my life, again, there's several, but my 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Fulton. I had a 7th grade teacher, Mr. LeCount. Teachers, if you're a teacher out here watching this, you have such influence on students. And you know what? In Saladmaster, we're teachers, and we can influence someone's life immensely. I saw Mr. LeCount at my 30-year class reunion, and this guy was my algebra teacher, and he passed me with a D. But he remembered me after 30, I'd never seen him 30 years, and he remembered. He said, "Hey, Wayne." Holy cow. And then he asked me to come to his class and talk to them about life. So he had quite an influence on me. And by the way, that was in 7th grade, and Devin, that was my 2nd year of 7th grade.
Was it?
Yeah. And that's why he influenced me so much, because he gave me some confidence at that level.
I am very blessed that my parents will be married for 56 years this year, and to me that is just a huge accomplishment. My dad was very successful in what he did. My mother was majorly successful as well in what she did. And both of them, with each of their sides of their personalities, have just been 100% and will always be 100% a big, huge influence in my life. I'm very blessed because you don't get to pick your parents, and I do have the best parents in the world. So I'm definitely blessed on that. The third person, honestly, that I do have to bring up in my personal life was my former president at my former position. His name is Daryl Hawkins, and golly, I might cry on this one. But he did a good transition for me, going from teacher and running a classroom and bringing me into the corporate world. But oh my God, the fun. I'm still good friends with him, and he treats me like family. He's always treated me like family. And I think the biggest thing that I respect from him on a business standpoint of view is that when we were at events, he never introduced me as, this is Sarah, she works for me. He always introduced me as, hey, this is Sarah, my friend, we work together.
I would say in my life would absolutely have to be my mother. I am a big proponent of strong women. I grew up with a strong woman in the house, and she's 90 years old, and I'm very proud of her, and I hope she is proud of me as well.
So if I say a person in my life, I would definitely say my mother. My parents got married when they were very young. My mum was actually, my dad at the time was in the UK, my mum was in India, and she was just a normal 14, 15-year-old girl off to go to school and got told, no, you're not going to school today, we're getting you a passport because you're going to the UK to get married. And she got shipped overseas, and that's just how it was done back then, but she got shipped over to the UK, had no family, no loved ones around her, and married my dad. But seeing my mum's resilience and the qualities that it takes for a person to be in that environment, in that situation, and bond with a family, a big family as well, I must say. My dad is part of a big family, he's one of 8 siblings. So to bond with a family and to create and to make that your family, and everything that she did for us growing up, the things that we got to experience and things that we got to do, I definitely believe that a lot of the decisions I make knowing that my mum worked really, really hard to provide us with what we have. So I've got to make sure I'm making the most of that opportunity. And it's just always something that's in the back of my mind.
A family member that has the most memory for me growing up was my dad.
One person in my life, can I say 2?
Okay.
Both of my parents. My parents come from very humble backgrounds, and they've worked for everything that they've had. They've had a lot of struggles, but they seem to always overcome them. And they're just great people. Famous, I don't really have one of those, just because I don't really relate to famous people.
Person in my life is 100% my father. 100%. He's actually been a mentor to me over the years during my career.
One famous person is going to be, because I ran track, I went to college on my legs, scholarship, and the famous person was FloJo, Florence Griffith Joyner. If you've ever watched her run, beautiful lady. My dad used to tell me that I could make a presence, and if I wanted to run, don't run like a guy and look like a guy, look like the lady you are. So dress yourself up, put the nails on, put the hair on, look like FloJo. So that was always who I kind of followed after when I ran on the track. And as for person in my life, person growing up. I'm probably going to say my first name that came into my mind was my Noni. To this day, I look in the kitchen, and because of her cooking, I remember that. But also, I'm watching my mother as she's going through things in her life. I'm watching the things that my Noni taught us, is going through my mom and is passing down through me. So I'm probably going to have to say that my grandmother, my Noni.
It's a hard one because my parents are kind of like one, but most definitely my dad, in the sense that he taught me to always think before you act, go through all the scenarios and then make a decision. And I'm very much like that today. Very logical person, at least try to be anyway. So yeah, those two for sure.
The most influential person in my life has definitely been 100% my father. The most influential person in my life has hands down been my father. He is very independent and has taught me to also, I don't want to cry. He is a very independent person and showed me that from a very young age, which I think has made me want to be a very independent person, especially as a woman, you know, in our world. But not just for that, he's also overcome some health issues. He's a cancer survivor, and his resiliency in going through that is just something that has truly changed my life and how I approach just any challenge that we are confronted with in our lives.
Since joining Saladmaster, have there been anyone you've connected with that's helped you throughout stressful situations?
Yes, Mr. Gary Jarvis has been an absolute mentor. Like, I would say confidant, but like that sounds a bit dramatic. But he has been probably the biggest support for me during my time at Saladmaster. So I would definitely say him.
I think that the marketing team in general, I wouldn't say one person. Dana is very helpful on those times. She's always willing to help and support. So yeah, I would say probably Dana.
Anna, for sure. Anna is the best boss, and Rusty and Andrew and all of the leadership team. They're all great. But Anna is always open to answer my questions, talk me down from nerves from presentations or things like this. And I just really appreciate all of the knowledge that she instills in me.
Actually, yes, Susan Wells and Fawny. Those two have definitely helped me through some difficult situations to be able to bounce some ideas off of them.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, if I think about it, I mean, some of the conversations I have had with Io over the years, you know, just some of the sound advice that he gives applies not just to work, but I've been able to really take, and I mean even in work situations, having conversations with Io, but some of the things that he says resonates outside of work and you can kind of put towards personal life, and has probably really, really helped. But I couldn't answer this without mentioning Cliff Williams. I probably sound his ear off more than anybody, because if I need someone that I just can call and just blow my fuse at and rant to and have no backlash, but just someone that I can just offload on as I speak, a healthy offload, he's the first person I call. So yeah, I would definitely say Cliff Williams on that one. But in terms of assisting and kind of giving that advice, then it would come back to Io.
I think my previous boss, which name will remain silent, he really helped me out a lot in not just stressful situations, but in personal development and just seeing and pulling some things out of myself that I didn't see before. And currently, one of our new additions, Luis Garcia, he's awesome. I've been working with him a little bit on some projects for the Spanish market, and he's a good guy. He helps me quite a bit, so kudos to you too.
I'm going to say my supervisor, Lydia, because me and her, like, you know, we're always nudging each other for information. We vent to each other. You know, she's just kind of like, probably like the sister I never had. You know, I depend on her on a lot of advice and, you know, suggestions.
I think I would have to say it's my team. We do a lot, and a lot of it is under pressure and seems to be last minute, where we hold our cool, but really things under fire and last minute. There have been some serious last minute situations with the IFS implementation, with it going live with new countries, that it's really down to the wire and nobody knows that. And when we're in front of the cameras, everything is calm, cool, and collective so that we are comfortable in presenting that we are strong. But the team really does pull through, and we do it all together, and I think we lean on each other, and I think that's why we do so good together.
I think I would need to say my boss, Barry Matthews. He's a very strong individual, and I do rely on him a lot, whether it's for personal things or work-related stuff, Barry's always got my back.
100%, and his name is DJ Devil Showtime. He is very good for me to where he sits there and listens. He also is very analytical when it comes to the situation that I need to discuss. Another person that I've always leaned on, obviously, is Brenna Patton, Dana Thornburg, and a new one, too, is Archie. I like Archie. Archie is taking on the role of finance in a different way, so it's very nice to deal with him. But stressful situations, yeah, I'm sorry, Devin. I thought at one point in time during COVID, I thought during one point in time during COVID, he might block my numbers. So I'm good to know I'm still in the good graces of DJ Devil Showtime. So he's my man.
Yes, the two Andrews, Andrew Clark and Andrew Royal, have been there for me during some stressful times, so I can't thank them enough for that.
Don't get me teared up again. Yes. Bill Francisco. I'll tell you, if it hadn't been for Bill Francisco, I'm really not sure I'd be around here today. Peter Menke, Elton Evans. I have to say something. And then new people today. I mean, Devin, you've helped me through stressful situations. So it doesn't matter just because I've been around, I've been around a long time. But I've had people through my career that have helped me through stressful situations, still, including today.
Yeah, I would say my boss. As I've gone through different things, whether it was family, whatever, she's always reaching out to me, wanting to know how I'm doing. I didn't say that because you're in here, man.
Yeah, I think whenever I have stressful situations, I usually talk to my mom. She's really calm and always has good answers to a lot of the issues that I have. So I usually like to give her a call anytime I have deadlines or feeling stressed.
Because I am remote, I think I have to go with Fani because that's my girl and she's helped. And then second, Devin, because he's the only other person I talk to.
I knew that I could turn to different people. So I wouldn't say just one person. There's been a few that I've been able to go and talk to. Although I'm quiet person when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it doesn't come naturally to me.
There has been, and it's been, I'll go with that Devin guy again. I'm not getting any brownie points for it, I'm sure, but, he's definitely helped through some stressful situations. And I would say with the change in what I'm doing and with my career with Saladmaster and now Regalware, again, not in any way to brown nose, but I will tell you Ryan Regal has done a fantastic job of being able to help me through what would be considered stressful situations. So,
if I'm just doing one, I'm gonna probably say Carolyn Evans. Has helped through stressful situations. Her words of encouragement, how she has handled it as such a strong leader at times and stuff like that. I admire her. She's helped me through to how to continue to walk through situations and stuff like that. So I'm going to say Carolyn Evans is probably going to be the person I'm going to say there. Well, there's tons of others, second, third, and fourth. Carolyn Evans.
If you were to lose all of your memories, what's the last memory you'd want to lose?
Well, I guess that last memory is before my mom passed away. You want to know why?
Yeah, if you want to share.
When she passed away with cancer, but in her last, 15 days or whatever, my wife took care of her. And I remember seeing my mom, and she couldn't talk or anything, but then she wanted bacon. It was the weirdest thing. She wanted a slice of bacon. So we ran and got her a slice of bacon. And that's what she wanted on her last few days of her death. Of course, there were other things too, but that's the one thing that just shocked me.
What?
Man, that's some existential stuff here. The last memory you want to lose. Oh, man. Sometimes I spend together with my grandma. That'll be it.
One, I would say, 100% thinking about it, it definitely has something to do with my father. And, when he finally, when he came to congratulate myself and my husband, for our marriage, and giving both of us a hug and accepting my husband 100% to the family.
I would probably say my wedding day. It's just, I remember being on the flight on the way to our honeymoon, and I was looking through my phone. Our photographer had sent us some preview pictures that he'd edited kind of overnight. And I remember sitting there running through these pictures on this flight, obviously glass of wine in hand, and I just burst into tears. And my husband was like, "Why are you crying for?" And I was like, "Because I can't remember actually standing there saying our vows. It just felt like such a blur." And I said, I don't know why, but I just couldn't remember being in the moment. And I remember how devastated I was. I mean, obviously now I can, but then because it was just a massive whirlwind, I was like, I just can't remember savouring every moment. So I think based on that, if I were to lose all of my memories, that would be the one that I'd want to be the last.
I think the last memory I would want to lose is anything with family. Having come here from Mexico, my immediate family, my parents, and I have one brother, we're extremely close. And we have a lot of great memories of traveling together and experiencing food and good wine and just all of that. And I would want my last memory to be about them.
I know the objective is not to cry on the video. Honestly, the last memory I'd want to lose is that of my husband.
The last memory I would want to lose is so we were at my parents' house last week because it was Father's Day, and so there was me, my mum and dad, my brother and sister-in-law and their dog, and we were in the garden and we were playing ball with the dog, and then my brother threw the ball and it smacked me on the top of the head, and he was laughing and we were all just laughing, and I just had this moment of oh my God, how amazing is this that we're all so together and it's so lovely. And yeah, just that feeling of knowing that you're part of something and that you just love your family. And I think that would be one of the last ones, yeah.
Moving out and my dad choking up. It was so awesome. I was like, ha, you have emotions. I knew it.
The birth of my son.
100% my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. That weekend of family and celebrating their love for each other is breathtaking, as well as you can tell that it's going to make me cry. But yeah, it would be definitely right now my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. That's tough too because my grandma's Strauss. But yeah, I'm going to go with my parents' 50th wedding anniversary.
The last memory you'd want to lose would be probably, now, I know you can go into family and all that sort of stuff, but it would probably be my dog, Ashes. That would probably be the last memory I'd want to lose. Unfortunately, Ashes isn't with us anymore. There I go, bumming it out. But just the fun times we had, stuff that she got me through, as much as a dog can get you through things. Those of you that are pet owners know what I mean. But that would probably be it, would be the last fun memories of taking her out in the field and having a blast and that sort of thing.
Probably hearing my baby's first heartbeat at the scan. I didn't think it would touch me as much as it did, but yeah, that would probably be the last one I would want to lose.
Probably my granddad, like coming to My Little Pony shows with me when I was a kid. He died when I was 8. But before he died, he always used to come to the little fun shows with me and my mum, and always came and watched me. So yeah, probably them, because I was quite close to my granddad before he died.
I think the last memory I'd want to lose is me knowing my name.
It's just got to be that mental image I have of my wife and 2 children.
That I'm Christian. Yeah.
I'm gonna cry. Probably the last time me and my husband and my daughter hung out together. Because it's like just all of us together. So just like laughing and tickling and playing, that's always the best.
Well, dear to my heart, it would be the memories of the time I spent with my family.
That's my kids and my wife.
I think the last memory I would not want to lose is probably my engagement. Yeah, I recently got engaged a year ago, and I think that would be just a tragic memory because it was a great time, a fun time, and I really enjoyed it, so.
Okay, this is where it gets emotional. I think, oh wow. I do think any time that I've spent with my kids, I mean, Easton and Jace are my life. And so from their football games to their craziness to last night we were just playing a board game, you know, any of those memories with my kids, I am an ugly crier too, would definitely be hands down the last memories I'd want to lose. Okay, I need a moment.
You're good. I'm gonna cry. When my husband and I were able to go away this March, and we were just on the water, in the ocean, kind of just having a relaxing time, and so I would just want to make sure that I kept that one.
You turd. You said there were going to be some left field questions, Devin. Man, those are things that you think about. That's almost not fair. Well, my kids, my daughter and my son and my grandkids, and that's all. And then I also my mother, and that's all. And then my dad, and that's all.
Yeah.
Family.
It's a hard question.
Family.
Yeah.
Boy, you guys are. This is.
If I was to lose all of my memory, what would be the last memory I'd want to lose? I was the ugly duckling in high school. I don't want to lose that. I was always the shy girl. I was the shy girl in high school, and I just want to lose that memory.
Okay, if you were to lose all your memories, what's the last memory you'd want to lose doing this interview?
Yeah, we're almost done.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
You just threw that out there.
Yeah. It's in there, and it's just, we go back to,
The memories of me being with Saladmaster family. No, that's too.
If you were to lose all your memories, what the last memory you'd want to lose? My memory of working at Saladmaster, of course. Is there another answer?
Most memorable moment in the 2 weeks that I've worked for Saladmaster. I gotta say the virtual baby shower was pretty awesome. That made me feel really special, and it was cool to tell everyone that I was pregnant and that we were gonna have a baby, and then everyone was so sweet and just said the best and kindest words. So I think that was probably the most memorable.
Just before